Good morning and welcome back. Back at Deer Valley. Sorry it's been a bit quiet with the fly fishing, guys. We've been up to the old Scottish Islands targeting some monster skate. Try and pop a few pictures in just for you to see how we got on. Absolute bumper session we had up there. Skate 181 pound males to 119 pound, a new PB for myself. So as I say, we're down at Deer Valley. It has been extremely quiet. Its temperatures on and off all the time. It's extremely hard to get any sort of consistency with the fishing. So I'm going to stick with the indicator to start off with. Nice big long line, and we're going to let that drift. Look at that. Let's get that out to the back in. So we're going to let that drift with the wind out. See if we can get any fish at range. I think a lot of the fish have gone further out, and they seem to be staying away from the bank activity. They seem to favour the warmer water. There's a few guys here today. 2 or 3 fish have come out already, which is always a good thing. The water is nice and clear. It's freezing cold, but as you can see, what a beautiful day. So I'm just about to search the water now more than anything. I don't want to flog the water with the intermediate or a dye 3, dye 5. I just want to use the indicator, search out sort of typical depths. I've got 2 flies under the indicator, and I've got the 2 wiggles. I've got a salmon colour about 5 foot down, and there's a white one that is another, well, I'd say 2.5 feet under the indicator. So I'm going to bring this all the way back to the bank, let the flies sink, give it 30 seconds or so the flies are fishing static for 30 seconds, and then bring the flies in, 2-3 foot, rinse and repeat, and hopefully get a few fish on the bank for us today. There's a few fish swirling further out, it's always a good sign. Be nice to get the dry fly out at some point, as you see there now. 2 nice long pulls, and let those flies sink. I'm hoping to get reactions from fish further out, but also bring those flies all the way into the bank. Don't be afraid to bring them all the way into the bank, because there will be fish like that close to the bank looking for an easy meal. So what we'll do with this, we give it 10 minutes or so, and then I'll get the intermediate out and show you my setup with the intermediate. We have got the Celestial intermediate line today with an OSG damsel on the point and a cormorant, very similar to a Diowl, but obviously with the cormorant style, and that is roughly about 4 foot from the point. We are hoping to see a reaction from these fish. Maybe first thing in the morning now they're gonna be happy to take the wiggles under the indicator in close. Might be a tiger or 2 looking for a quick meal. Water does go extremely deep, about 10 to 15 yards out. the water is possibly 10 feet deep. It's extremely deep water. Right, let's utilise this wind a little. Look at that. All the way out. Little bit of line left on a reel, and we are over 30 yards out there, easy 30 to 40 yards of fly line. It's insane. It is wind assisted, but that was effortless. 2 or 3 false casts, was it? Straight out. So what I'll do now, I'll just do exactly the same thing again. I'm going to leave it out into the deeper water and just gradually bring it in. Just switched over to the intermediate, and straight away on a damsel. The good old OSG damsel. Oh, younger than that, Dale, have you? The brownie. Oh, come on, don't come off. First day I forget my net. First fish and we ate a brownie. So it'll be my first ever brown at Deer Valley on the good old trusty OSG damsel. First brown, that is up your butt. What were we saying today? Yeah. Be nice to see a brown. And here he is. Get in here. First ever Deer Valley brown. Got a long, that's been in a long time, Arif. Yeah. Good old OSG, I think it was the second cast. Yeah. Let's get him unhooked and we'll get a quick picture with him. Picture. Nice little brownie on the old OSG. The hands are nice and wet. Won't get him out of the water. Get in there. What a start with a brown. About 4 pound. Nice fish, has been in here a long time by the look of him. There's a few other fish coming around the lake on indicator pulling methods. There's a gentleman down there going dries, he's had a few refusals. I've had a few fish turn on the damsel again. So I'm just going to come back into this bay here now. It's a little slightly shallower end of the lake. The wind is blowing up into this way. So I'm going to go back over the other side of the bank, utilise the wind for the cast. And I have a mini white snake there. And I've still got the cormorant pattern on the top. I've got the intermediate line, so I'm just going to let this sink only for about 10 seconds or so, and then creep the flies back in. See what kind of interest we can get on the mini white snake. If we don't get too many or too much interest on the white snake, I will scale it back down and maybe put another cormorant on the end. But we're just going to work this shallower part of the lake now. Do apologise for any wind noise, guys. It is absolutely howling with wind. So let's get on to it. Oh, had a bit of interest with a white snake. So I've now put the 40 plus die 3 on, just to utilise this wind as well. Put a cast as far as I can. And I'm just literally stripping the fly in. We had a lot of interest with a white snake, but nothing positive. A couple of little plucks here and there, but no solid hookups. So I've now gone to a mini pink snake, and I've also had a few follows with that as well. Just refusals right at the end of the bank. Watch this now. One false cast, and that is hammered out. To be fair, airflow do make a pretty good sinking line. That's the 40 plus. It's one of the old 40 pluses. Personally, I don't really rate their new things, the new lines they got out at the moment. I find they have gone downhill drastically in quality. So I'm glad this one still holds out. They're pretty bomb proof, these sink tips. It's the shooting head sink tip 40 plus. And see, there's one false cast, there's two, and that's the line all the way out. Well, I say all the way out. By all accounts, you are supposed to, there's my backing, so with these lines you are supposed to cut a certain amount off depending on what weight you're using, etc. But I've just left it all on. It's always done me good. There's lots of fish moving around in close. You just seem very hit and miss if they want to chase a fly at the moment. Oh, he turned on that one. Let's try one. Oh, that's insane. That is disgusting. That's in boat range if you were fishing on the boat. But I'm not really letting these flies sink. Now a few more casts, just stripping along the surface, or subsurface shall I say. We're sort of fishing the 5 foot up kind of depth. If there is any fish slightly deeper than that, they will see the fly and come up, hopefully. But I'm expecting a lot of fish to be in close. So it's a cracking start to the day, guys, with the brownie that we had. My first ever Deer Valley brown. Not too shabby either, around about £4. So we're off the mark. We have caught all of the species now at Deer Valley. We've had obviously rainbows, blues, golds, the Spartics, the tigers, and now the brown. So I'm absolutely buzzing with that, guys. It was very hit and miss this morning and me coming out with the wind. It's cold. I was half debating on just sitting in the house, but what better to do while the kids are in school? Make the most of it. And we were rewarded with a nice brownie. So I'm going to let this one sink a little bit longer this time, maybe give it 10 seconds, and then I'm going to put the rod up underneath the arm and do a roly-poly retrieve, see if these fish fancy something a little bit faster. A quick little look, guys, at the white snake. It's a mini snake, it is. Got a lot of bangs on this now. This is why sometimes it's always a good idea to drop down in size a fly, or try and use something that the fish could have possibly not seen before. It's just a pure unlucky now at the moment. It looks as if they're taking the front of the fly, but a very minimal tail, a nice hook, nice profile. I'm still fishing this at the roly-poly pace, but there's a lot of fish just cruising around at the moment. So I'm gonna go back to the indicator. I've got an egg and a damsel what's it kind of pattern, and I'm going to sit on that now until it's time to go home. It's nearly time to go home. So as always, don't forget, there's always teas, coffees, the fire's on, so don't forget, if you want a cup of tea, guys, or a cup of coffee, just go in and ask, and the boys will help you cater for you on anything. If you need lines, flies, everything is in the cabin, guys. So don't be afraid just to pop in, even have a chat with the boys, just have a quick check on what patterns are working best. It's always better to have some inside information than trying to wing it yourself. There's nothing wrong in trying to wing it yourself, but if there is patterns that are working more favourable than others, it just seems a little silly not to use those patterns. So the fish just came up over there. It'll be just my luck, we'll start to get a bit of a possible rise when it's time for me to go home. That is my luck, especially with the colder weather. Seem to get a little burst of fish rising, and that's when it's time for me to go home. So have a quick look at the time. This is where we get a bite as well. 1:15. I'm going to persevere now for another 25 minutes and then we're out here. That's pretty much it now for today. The wind is getting a little naughty now. It flies as much as you're trying to get a big line out. Got to be careful with the fly coming behind. So as always, make sure you got your protection. Baseball cap, bobble that. I've got my hood up at the moment for a little bit more protection on the head. Always, always, always make sure you got your glasses, your sunglasses. Preferably Polaroid ones, because that will give you the edge to seeing fish. Always let that fly hang. I've got a big black snake on now at the moment with the chartreuse fritz on the front. Putting a massive line out there trying to maximise any fish that are pushed out further in the water, trying to cover everything. But that is pretty much it now, guys. We had a cracking brownie this morning on the good old faithful OSG damsel. The amount of times I have fished that fly on this lake and had rainbows, tigers, spartics, blues, everywhere I've gone, that OSG damsel has been deadly. But we have got a little twist to the damsel. It's a little variation. Mr. Buffton tied up. I will insert a photo of that fly for you to have a little quick look. It is available to buy. They are selling quite fast already. So thanks again, guys. Sorry it's such a quick one again. Fishing is hard. Don't expect just to stay in one spot all day and expect the fish to come to you. I've been all around the lake, guys. Tried all different flies, all different methods, the indicator, the sinking line, the intermediate. Gone through them all today. And we were rewarded with a nice brownie. So I have had follows on a pink snake, and I have had hookups with the white snake, and by the time I get to push the button on the GoPro, the fish will come off. So if you do get a chance to come up, guys, don't forget teas and coffees always available, and the fire's on, and also exactly what I said. Seems to be every time I want to go home, there seems to be fish starting to rise. But as I say, don't be afraid to go around. Just if you can, like I previously say, fan cast if you can, and work the water like a clock face in front of you, and then maybe move up 10 steps, do it again, rinse and repeat. that way you're not stuck. Oh, you're not stuck in one position for the day, expecting a fish to come to you. You will cover the whole water, and fingers crossed you will get rewarded. So see, the damsel, I was fishing the damsel on the Celestial Intermediate, and there was a cormorant pattern on the dropper. I wasn't letting this sink or nothing. I cast it out. Might have been 5 seconds or so, and then slow figure of 8, and the brownie must have nailed the fly on the drop. So this is one of the other flies, another deadly fly from Mr. Buffton. The black snake, it's like a nice leech with a chartreuse fritz on the front and a blue flash tail. That's another deadly pattern, that is, guys. So as I said, thanks again for watching. Appreciate all the subscriptions and everything. We're over that magical 3,000 now. So thanks again, guys. We'll catch you all in the next one.